Banjo Tooie is my favorite game of all time. From the characters to the music to the lore, it's filled to the brim with charm and radiates awesomeness. In my previous Mysteries of Banjo Tooie video, we covered some really interesting things in the world, like the size of Stomponodon and Gruntilda's empire. But what else can we find and theorize about? I'm glad you asked. This is more Mysteries of Banjo Tooie. I want to talk to you about a new partnership with my channel, FiGGYZ. Let's talk about what makes these awesome. Pixel art style character designs, a FiGGYZ branded mount with a metal themed backplate. FiGGYZ are magnetic and clamp onto metal surfaces, so all the backplates are premium and metal. There's a chance you'll get rare backplates of varying rarities as well. All of these FiGGYZ look super dope on a shelf, and if you're like me, you're probably clamoring for new Banjo merch. FiGGYZ have so much more, including FiGGYZ World, a social platform to share about your collection, and an app to keep track of your growing collection. So many series are represented, you won't want to miss it. Be sure to register now with my affiliate link to get 5% off your first order and early access to shop before the store officially opens the beginning of June. And it supports your pal Jiggy. The link to register is in the description below. Now back to the video. Mingella's Secret Brew. In the opening sequence of Banjo Tooie, we meet Grunty's other two sisters who come to free her from the rock she's trapped under. We see her one sister Mingella carrying a spellbook reminiscent of Cheato, though not sentient. When Mingella opens up the book, we see two spells. One is the spell she uses to destroy the rock, and it's named Boulder Blaster, so the title fits the description exactly. But if we look over her shoulder, we do see the other page, which contains a spell called BK Brew. If Boulder Blaster is about destroying the rock, BK Brew must be about turning Banjo-Kazooie into some sort of soup or drink. It's hard to make out the text, but from what I can see and find from the community online, from the top it says, Eye of Bear, Wing of Bird, Jinjo Legs, Shaman Toes. What magical concoction could this make? And what sort of effect would it have on these witches? Maybe it'll make them hairy. Cheato's language. Cheato pages can be found throughout the game and reward us with wonderful abilities to aid in our progression, like no fall damage and more feathers and eggs. But have you ever wondered what the language on the Cheato pages say? I certainly have. Let's start with the outside of Cheato. The symbol on Cheato's cover is a triangle inside a circle. After looking into the symbolism, the triangle represents the three elements of air, water, and fire, and the circle the infinite nature of the universe. Inside, the pages are much more difficult to decipher. I've sat here looking up alchemic symbolism and trying to match them. I've gone through runic languages. I thought maybe diving into the regional runic language where Rare was located may have been the answer. And I even went to translate some of the codes we got into runic languages, hoping maybe I could match it up. I got nothing. But then I had a thought. Sometimes magic is written down in a language only the caster who holds the book can know. So this language is made up potentially by Grunty herself, or hear me out, Cheato himself. Grunty's really mad when Cheato first gives us codes to assist, almost like she was never able to use them. She eventually rips out his pages in Tooie for helping us in Kazooie. And in fact, it seems like Grunty prepared for Cheato betraying her way back in Kazooie by putting a guard in the sandcastle and flooding that chamber, and also putting in failsafes for incorrect codes. Cheato has his own indecipherable language only he knows, but he'll give us codes to stop Grunty. But all that being said, if anyone from the Tooie team has some insight into what the Cheato pages say, I'm all ears. Pawno's inventory. I can't be the only one to question Pawno's inventory. It's filled with items from Banjo-Kazooie, specifically the picture of Bruntilda from Mad Monster Mansion, the doll from Grunty's Furnace Fun, and a box labeled BK, indicating he has acquired more inventory from the previous game. I think word spread that Grunty was defeated and trapped, and tons of characters from the Isle o' Heg started flooding in and raiding the lair, taking a lot of her stuff. It stands to reason Pawno got a good amount, perhaps being brave enough to enter the top of the lair. Pawno is also injured and has a peg leg, and it's never elaborated on. Maybe when the lair started falling apart and closing in, he got his leg caught in some falling pieces. Familiar Mermaid. If you watch my content, you'll know I'm a big proponent of the Rare universe and that all of the Rare-made games connect together. Tooie alone is filled with tons of references to other characters, but one in Atlantis I seem to have never given a second thought. In the main section of Atlantis with the temple imagery, we see statues we need to hit with eggs in a certain order. Well, those statues bear a striking resemblance to the mermaid located in Donkey Kong 64's Gloomy Galleon. Is it possible that this is the area the mermaid is originally from and she's relocated to Gloomy Galleon at some point? Perhaps she wanted to be where the Kongs are, or maybe Gloomy Galleon and Jolly Roger's Lagoon are closer than we think. We do also see similar enemies on top of this to support the idea. Atlantean Language. We actually have another instance of a strange language written on something. In this instance, it's actually in Atlantis in the Electric Eel's lair. You can see written on the walls these strange symbols. Again, I'd be cycling through runic languages and alchemic symbols. One sort of looks like the symbol for universal seed and a few others sort of hit, but I don't know. We need a language expert to come in and decipher this. Can we figure it out together in the comments? It just feels so specific not to mean something. I'll keep digging myself and let you guys know if I find anything. Wall drawings. Terrydactyland is a world filled with dinosaurs and cavemen. Every turn of this level you can see a creature of varying sizes, but in the train station section of this level we see some interesting drawings on the walls. First, we see a sketch of Mumbo in the train, and then these weird creatures. If we move slightly to the right, we see a better picture of the creatures. They almost appear to be like horses. There aren't any creatures like this as far as I'm aware in Terrydactyland, let alone the game. I wonder if this is some sort of extinct horse-like Iloheg species. And if you're wondering about Mumbo being there because it looks like it could have been in the past, Mumbo can time travel. It's a thing. Go play Grunty's Revenge. Alien badges. In Atlantis, we first encounter aliens that require us to fuel their ship up with ice eggs. So we do, and they fly off. Now fast forward to when we're in Hailfire Peak's icy side. The aliens show up again. Aside from the glaring plot hole that Mumbo can resurrect the alien, and not bottles, we encounter 3 new alien children. Alphet, Baidet, and Gamut. And I noticed they are all wearing these badges with faces on them. Alphet's has a boy's face with a surprised expression and black afro-like hair. Baidet has one with a boy with orange hair and big ears. And Gamut's looks a lot like Alphet's. I'm not sure what these badges are supposed to mean. Perhaps they are identifying 2 as boys and the other as a female? Maybe these are like Boy and Girl Scout badges, and they got them for completing a task on their travels. Could these be disguise badges and make them look younger and less threatening for the locals? Or just straight cloaking? Grunty Industries products. We've explored Grunty's entire plant, but have we learned what they actually make here? Not really. Well, maybe. They have a waste disposal plant with water and oil intakes from Jolly Roger's and Hailfire Peaks. They have a repair shop for the robotic workers and security, perhaps even the Hag One and various things from Witchy World, Grunty's connected theme park. Broken parts and things could come via train. But other than that, it seems to be one large storage depot for the most part, as there are several places filled to the brim with boxes. Oh, and it also functions as a packaging facility, so they pack and store things for them to be delivered to Twycross, England, which is where Rare was headquartered. They probably shipped these out with the Rusty Bucket. And what do they pack, you ask? Big O pants. Grunty Industries is nothing more than a self-sustaining clothing manufacturing company. Ever wonder where characters get their drip in this world? Well, from Grunty's clothing industry, of course. And their mascot? Mr. Pants, whom they broadcast advertisements on TV and in the Witchy World theme park. Grunty does utilize the building for her other operations, but her main focus? Big O Pants. Well, that's all I have for you. Be sure to drop a like in this video and subscribe if you haven't so you catch my future uploads. Until next time, have a good one. Jiggylookback!